Well, hello everyone. Welcome, shower door people, one and all. It's time for another Wednesday live stream with the shower door professionals. We meet weekly to discuss business, education, safety, design, and everything else as it pertains to the shower door industry. So please take a minute to like, subscribe, comment, the notifications, all that stuff. And it'll help people find us and be able to join in, help our little group to grow. Hope
Deal.
you all are having a great week so far. I know I am just rolling with it. I see Christina's here. I'll bet you she's got a report for us. What's going on, Christina?
Hey, Chris, can everyone hear me okay?
Yeah, I hear you
Yep.
great. Thanks.
Okay, perfect. I'm using new headphones, so we're seeing how it goes. So lots and lots of great stuff is happening. Tons of calls today, actually, and stuff yesterday and last week. Lots of stuff going on. So first and foremost, I wanted to let everybody know, well, the Shower Door Professionals Co-op is a cooperative we're putting together. It's kind of a subset of this group of people who are all wanting to work together to move the industry forward and make meaningful changes to move the industry forward, I guess, and improve education, resources, marketing, and pull our resources to do more stuff. We have had a lot of organic vendor interest in us and what we do. Thanks to Chris for putting all of us together and in contact with one another and making this a reality and making this happen. And if you join the co-op before the end of the year, your first year of member dues are entirely free. So that means from December 1st of this year to December 1st of next year, it is entirely free from a membership due standpoint to join the co-op. Now, every single member will be required to pay into the stock cost, which is $1,200. That is just your one vote, one member, one vote.
And basically, right?
Yes, that's exactly right. So we're all going into business together to kind of put this all together. From there, though, the membership due is just an annual due. And if you get in on the ground level this year, it is completely free from your first date to next year's date. And I hope I said that right. That will all come out in an email to members once we have our final membership agreement from the attorney, which is the last tiny piece to the puzzle that we're working on. And he's just making some quick changes. So, so close. We have a membership committee. Our second committee is the membership committee, and it is head up by Lana. And I know that Mike is also part of that, and Brian Schwartz. So Brian, I know you posted today. I haven't emailed you yet, but I saw it and you'll be added to that email. So thank you all so much for your willingness to contribute and participate. We're really excited to all work together. We also have an events committee that is led by Brandon Nicastro, and I know Morgan Miller is also a part of that. And then I also want to announce some new members that we have. Let me pull this up. And I don't know if I have it up. Yes, I do. So our newest members to the co-op, Drew Engelman with Hopkins Glass and Shower Door. Welcome, Drew. We also have Will Folks with Lake Country Glass and Mirror. They're in Georgia as well, and I spoke with him today. So great. We're excited to have them. Kevin Bricking at Carmel Glass and Mirror, and Dana Higginbotham with Higginbotham Glass Corporation. So we're really excited to have these 4 new members. You all will, I think I've spoken to everybody except for Dana, but I know Dana's been speaking with Rob, so hopefully we're all on the same page, but you all will be getting emails and hearing more from us on the co-op and next steps in regards to that. I spoke with Mark Adamson from Old Castle, from OBE, and Barbara, and I can't remember her name now, from CRL, and they are just wonderful people, and they are really excited about the potential of the cooperative and collaborating potentially. I know Mark Adamson has a lot of really good ideas for OBE and CRL, and we just had a brief conversation, but we're going to keep that dialogue open, and they want to be a part of sponsoring the cooperative in some ways and events and joining calls and getting feedback from us. So this group is making a lot of waves, making a lot of progress, and just wanted to share that with you all. So I think that's all I have, Chris. Have I missed anything?
I don't think so. I think you've covered it quite well.
Thanks.
Thank you. Thanks for all that you do. You're a dynamo, making stuff happen.
Thanks.
It's a team effort, but
All of us are making stuff happen.
it's a team effort, but really appreciate your leadership in this particular thing. It's a lot of fun, and it's can't wait to see what happens next. Before we started, kind of as we were starting, Cameron was telling us about a home show that he did here recently, I think this past weekend. Sounded like he was pretty excited about it. I thought we might talk about that a little bit more. I mean, I know some more of you here on the call have done shows. I'm pretty sure that probably all of us, not all of us have. I know that I never have actually done it. So I found it really intriguing, just a little bit that I was hearing about it. So I don't know. I think that might be a cool topic to discuss. What are the pros and cons? I mean, is it worth it? To take time out of your busy schedule, go sit at some show somewhere behind a table or whatever. I mean, are you going to get work out of it? Or just some visibility? I don't know what. Tell us some more about that, Cameron. How about that?
Yeah, no, it's that was one of the main things is the visibility. That was some feedback that we had gotten at the spring show was a lot of people, didn't know who we were, wanted to know, if we're local and stuff. So it was nice, to get that kind of feedback and know that, that was, the goal was to get the name out there and to know that that was working. So that was nice. I mentioned too, we have a pretty good partnership with a local contractor that has a franchise bath planet, which they kind of specialize in like the seamless walls and similar to like that 1 day shower type of deal, but a little bit different. But they go all out for the home shows. Like they rent out a couple spots in like a big corner booth, and then they also have Patio Kings, which is another subsidy, which obviously we don't do anything with them, but they definitely go out. So it was really wanting to support them too, and kind of some backup. So which worked out because I mean the spring show, it definitely paid for itself and then some, because we closed probably about 18 or 20 jobs from that, and then had a little bit of residual stuff, or a lot of residual stuff from what they had, because they closed I think upwards of like 30 jobs, and we do about 90% of their showers, so all of that stuff came our way too. So it was a really nice turnout for the spring show. And then we were bouncing customers back and forth between the booths, and if they had certain questions on different products, we were able to kind of direct them and help them and support them that way. So it was nice. Definitely some key takeaways, and some things I want to do a little bit different as far as like the displays, because like the spring show, we didn't really know what to do or what to bring, so it kind of felt a little crowded in the booth, because that 10 by 10 square gets filled up pretty quick. And so we put like 4 stand-up displays. I had my banner in the back, which we're probably going to do the same thing. I think we're going to want to change it up a little bit. And then I had a screen with some pictures rolling and some other stuff. So it got really cramped in there. And so for this show we did last weekend, I just kept it to just the two basic stand-up displays, just through some giveaway stuff, just to kind of get people engaged to just at least come by the booth and spark up conversation. And it was a little slower, which everybody from who I've talked to, the fall shows are normally a little slower. So you don't get a super huge turnout, but it's still definitely paid for itself. And we still got some similar feedback, just getting the name out there and getting, people to recognize who we are, and, that we're local, and everybody really likes that. So it was good. We're definitely going to keep it going, not just to get the name out, but definitely to support a couple other contractors. And then also the marketing aspect too. I had 3 contractors stop by the booth and drop their card, and they were wanting to get some just basic pricing and time frames and stuff like that. And they're like, oh yeah, we use so and so down the street, and we've had some issues, but we're looking for somebody else possibly, and so we're going to get some business hopefully from them. So it was a good turnout, and definitely positive for us. So
Nice.
Was it a 1-day or 2-day, Cameron, event?
it was a 3-day show. So I was there Friday. So setup was Thursday, and then we were there all day Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, 8 to 5. Or no, sorry, 10 to 5.
Wow. Okay. Can I ask how much it costs for the 10 by 10?
So yeah, so for us for a 10 by 10 booth, the spring show I believe was right around $1,400 or $1,450, something like that. And then for the fall show is right around 1,200.
That's really good. We don't have that kind of. I just passed on one that was 4 hours on Wednesday for $1,500.
Oh wow. Yeah, that's pretty.
But yeah, by the time you get over there and set up and everything, and you have 4 hours in the middle of a work week, and then you got to break down and be gone. Yeah, by the 5th hour, I didn't think that was worth it. So yeah, and then we've got another one around here that's it's just 1 day, and it's on a Thursday, again, middle of the week. I don't know what it is with not having it on the weekend, but it's $5,000 for 1 day, and in one of our local TV stations sponsors it. And you get a 10 by 10 booth, and then the rest of the money goes toward 20 or 25 ads on TV. That's the way they sell their advertising.
Gotcha.
But that's not what you're saying right there. 3 days for $1,400. That's definitely doable.
Yeah. And then they give us like 25. I mean, you can go in, you get as many. I mean, they didn't really give us a limit, but I was able to get like probably. Well, I got 6 badges myself just for using all of them.
Yeah.
People to go in and out when we get, as the vendor, we get free parking and stuff like that. But then they give us another 25 tickets, which actually each ticket was good for 2. So it was 50 tickets free that we could pass out to customers or whoever we want. So it was definitely worth it for us. Yeah. And then especially doing it the whole weekend. So, and they have different themes. Like for the fall, it's like their main gig is like the tiny homes and stuff. So they have a whole section outside for just tiny homes. And then they have all the contractors in like 2 or 3 buildings that kind of share, everybody's kind of spread out. And then they have one building specific to just like merchant vendors, like, selling little as seen on TV type of stuff and little gadgets and whatever. So
that your Home Builders Association sponsors it? Who
I
sponsors
I believe so. Yeah. They've been doing it because we're in California. They do the Fresno, which is in the Central Valley, and then they also South Valley. I think they do one in Visalia, and I think they have one more. But that's just basically as far as we go. I haven't done the Visalia one. That's about an hour away from where we're at. But I might do it because just to support that one contractor I mentioned, they do
Sure.
that one too. So
That's great.
Anybody else have experience with like just doing shows? Or I know
I
Bill
got, I got,
Dogman does everything.
I just got a quick question for Cam. How close was this home show to where you guys are at?
It's pretty close. So because the shops in Clovis, which is right next to Fresno. So it was maybe 20 minutes from the shop, if that.
So okay, so fair to assume that most of the people attending were pretty local to your particular area.
Yeah, we had a few that were kind of outskirts, and then one that came from the coast, which I just kind of referred them to some other shops just because it was like 3.5 hours away. And I was like,
Okay.
yeah, that's kind of a little outside of our area. But I mean, our territory, or not territory, but our service area is, I try and keep it within like an hour and a half around the shop,
Okay.
and manage it that way. But we had maybe a handful of those type of customers that were a little out there, but most of them, yeah, are all pretty local.
Um,
If you see Robert's comment in the chat there, it's good about putting a QR code out there for marketing, tracking your people. So if there's customers that come to your booth and you don't get a chance to talk to them, they may scan a QR code, at least you can track it that way. That's becoming very popular, and after COVID, everybody's used to using them now. I think
That's
that's
a
good.
good idea.
Oh, maybe that wasn't Robert, or was
Yeah, I think
Christina.
it was Robin. Christina
Both.
also posted something.
Oh,
I
yeah.
think it was a link to the co-op page
Co-op.
or the co-op
Yeah.
website where you can fill out an application if you are so inclined. Jump on the bandwagon.
QR codes are becoming really popular at shows, better,
What?
especially if you have printed material you're giving out at a trade show. Put QR codes on there and have that go to a landing page and give them some kind of a video. So when they go home and they queue it, it'll say, hey, I know I didn't get a chance to show you everything. Here's a gallery of what we do. Or, have a nice video created that they'll have. You can get a lot in. They can always replay it and just have that QR code printed. And the good thing about QR codes is you can change the landing, you can change the message you want to give them. So you can update it, or you can put multiple QR codes and you can break it down into showers, steam showers, wine closets, railings, depending on what they click on.
Right. Well, the cool thing about that is you can send them to wherever you want, like you're saying, and they're easy to make. They're free, right? So you can make
But
as
you
many of them as you want. And then you can also keep track of where people are coming from. So you
Yeah.
know that that's how they got there, and you can keep a tally of, how effective that particular ad is.
Like all marketing, it's important to track, right? You want to know how effective it is.
Right.
So that's important.
Yeah, you need to measure what's working, right, and what's not.
Yeah, it's just like when you come back from the home show, you've got to have some kind of a report done, like how many customers did you see? How many took literature? The only way to really base the true success is to have some kind of metrics to base it off of. So you got to have a plan when you go. And then what are you going to do when you get those leads? Who's following up, and how soon do they follow up on those leads? The longer the time goes, the worse chance you have of closing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We
Right.
have
Yeah.
found that with home shows for us, a lot of the people are kind of window shopping. Like it's usually a husband, wife going to the home show to figure out their remodel. And they're at the beginning or planning stages of their remodel and just kind of browsing and picking things out. So we did a home show in March, and we're actually doing shower doors now in November, from the home show in March.
Wow.
So I don't know how common that is, or if that's just the home show and the way that it was marketed for us, but that's what we've experienced, and we don't mind that. It works out, and they tell us because we have like a home show promotion and they want that discount. So
Yeah, we literally just installed one last week, right before the show. of a couple that came to the last home show, and they mentioned that, and I remember talking to him too. And then I think I had two customers come by that I remember seeing from the last home show that like, oh yeah, we came and talked to you last time. We're still in the process, and they're at least somewhat, I guess, thinking about us. So, but it was nice. I mean, like I said, it's still our first couple go arounds, but it's definitely been worth it so far. So
That's great.
Mhm.
Cameron, I may have missed this, but did you say you have full-size displays, or do you have full-size displays?
yeah, in the showroom we do. The ones I brought to the home show, they're small little mini displays that we got from one of our vendors. But I think for probably not this next spring show, but in maybe sometime next year, later in the year, I want to actually build kind of like a roll around and maybe do like two booths, and kind of spruce it up a little bit, because it's my little hook was having that one particular display with the hinge door. We set that up right at the end of the booth, and left the doors open, and it was like a lot of customers that actually came by the booth, that was like the first thing that they went to, and they all want to mess with that little door and just touch and feel. And it was like my little hook, like, oh hey, you have any questions, and how can I help you, just kind of do the spiel and stuff. So that was that definitely went a long ways. So that's kind of something we're thinking about doing.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
smart to pay attention to stuff like that, notice what people are noticing.
Yeah, get them interacting.
Mhm.
Yeah, and it's a great little conversation starter too, because you already see what they're kind of looking at, and then
Yeah.
it kind of already gives you that seed of what to talk about, your opener. So
What else? What else do we want to talk about? Sky's the limit. What about the new finishes out there? Anybody, taking advantages of the new hardware finishes that different
actually,
suppliers are offering? Are people
that
asking about it? Are people clamoring for it?
I do have a question. I'm glad you brought that up, because okay, so not necessarily a finished question, but as far as new product question, has anybody used those new zero hinges from CRL?
Mm-mm.
Not yet.
Mm-mm.
So I know that they have them in stock. The problem, so I've sold two doors with that particular setup, just because they're oversized, and that CRL, I guess you can go up to like 45 inches or something like that, something crazy wide. So but even though they have them in stock, they don't have the cutouts in Showers Online or in Smart Glazer. So I've ordered them from OBE, and they cannot produce my door because they can't figure out how to do the cutouts, even though it's literally propping the corner and it's like one little hole as the cutout, nothing crazy. And I'm like, come on, really? They're like, well, you can do the breakdown. I was like, that's not what the thing is. You guys have it in your system. Like, you should be able to produce that. And so OBE has been going back and forth between them and CRL, trying to figure out when and how they're going to fab these doors for me. So then we've had to convert one of them over to the Victoria hinges, because one of them was only like a 39-inch door, but the other one is like 42 and a half. And they are dead set on like, no, I want this huge giant door for my shower. So she says she's just going to wait until we can get it together. So I just didn't know.
Cameron, do you use Smart Glazer, or do you get the DXF files made and sent to Oldcastle, or do they do it for you?
They do it for me. I mean, I have the capability to do it. It's just laziness on my part, which
Not
I should.
used to doing it, right?
Yeah, and I'm just, yeah, it's just I'm not doing it currently, so I just have them do all that stuff for me. So if there's a mistake or an issue, it's not on me, it's on them, kind of thing.
Get that.
Totally.
I get that.
So
Well, if you want, I'd be happy this one time. This isn't a like forever service or anything, but I'd be happy to draw that up and send you whatever the cut sheets or the DXFs or anything that they would need for that customer. I'm excited about the new hinges, and I know that it's being added actively. They're working on adding it to Showers Online. And the reps who came into our showroom today said that it will also go into Smart Glazer, but frankly, I'm not sure that they really know that it will go into Smart Glazer.
yeah, and that's the thing is I get a little, I don't know, besides myself, I don't know, I just don't feel super comfortable, especially doing crop corners. Just because every time that we've done them, it's just been a hassle. And because it's not like you can just, oh, I just want this part cut off. You have to figure out what the other, sides are. So I just haven't done that. And so I'm just trying to get them to figure it out. But I do have one that is like basically a sold door, but I just have to wait for them to get that. So, but yeah, I might take you up on that. I'll hit you up a little bit later.
It's awfully nice of you, Christina. What a team. What a team. What a community we have here. So helpful. Yeah, it's interesting that they would release like hardware without adding it to the software. I mean, you'd think that would be done before, or at the same time, right? So, but there are a lot of little things like that just, little workarounds you have to do. I've been working in Showers Online for a long time, and it's like, for example, wouldn't it be cool if you could use the like 07, like the Primo 07 or Cardiff 07, that inline patch glass to glass pivot? Wouldn't it be cool if you could use that on the bottom in Showers Online, just like add it? And like that hinge, that pivot rather, has been out for years. And it's definitely, there's definitely an advantage to being able to use that top and bottom, right? Just have it cut out, top and bottom. But I don't think it still to this day has ever been added to Showers Online. Because I'd have used it all the time, but it's like I don't want to go through. I'm like Cameron yesterday. I want to go through the hassle of figuring out, okay, what are my deductions? How do I have to offset this in order to make it? I know Brandon and Castro does it all the time. They've got it figured out. They do it because it's a cool way. It's a cool way to use that piece of hardware, but you'd think that they'd have that, added in. That's my complaint. Thanks for
Can you just
listening.
hand draw those things if you want to and send it over to them?
Do what now?
Said if we have an issue with something that we can't draw up in any of their programs, we just hand draw it and send it over to them.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. I mean, yeah, actually, they'll do all the takeoffs and you can just send them a drawing. They'll do all the takeoffs and figure all that out for you, which I think, I think that's Cameron. Is that what you're doing basically? Just send them the opening sizes and have them do all that.
Yeah, and that's the thing is, and I called CRL directly on this particular issue, and just to see if it was just OBE not wanting to do it, and it's what it really comes down to is OBE. They can do it, they just can't do it in the software, but they can do the cutout is available online. So, you just scroll down and it's got the fab
It
sheets.
should be in the box, right? With the part.
Yeah, and that they have that too, but it's also on the website.
Right.
And that's what CRL said, and I was like, okay. He's like, yeah, you can. It shouldn't be that hard. And he's like, it's really not that complicated of a cutout. It's literally they crop the corner and it's one circle. That's it. And I was like, okay. So then I called OB again, and they're like, she's like, well, just giving me the same story. So I'm like, okay, I'll just keep waiting then, because which the lady that it's for, I mean, she's not in a huge hurry, but it's just one of those things. It's just kind of still lingering, and I'm just like, okay,
Stresses you out, man.
Yeah,
Right. And
Mhm.
I think a lot of times it's the individual that you're talking to, right? So I mean, it's just like, chain's only as strong as its weakest link, right? So I mean, the organization can be awesome, and then you can call and just get that one employee that's like, oh yeah, I don't know how to do this. So I'm just gonna say that it can't be done. It's like
Yeah.
you ever go to Home Depot and you're looking around, so it comes up and says, hey, what can I help you find something? They're like, yeah, I'm looking for one of these. Oh yeah, we don't have that. So you go find it, and then go find the employee and say, hey, here it is. It's on aisle 15. Just so
Yeah.
the next person who
Yeah.
asks, don't tell them that you don't have these.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Public
it was the
service
same.
announcement.
Yeah, it was the same. Like, I came from Napa Auto Parts years ago, and working in the store, and it's like, oh yeah, that's a dealer item only. And it's like, what? No, it's not. Like, you get it, and then you get the old guy that's been there for a while that doesn't even need to look in the computer. He's just got all the paper catalogs. Oh yeah, it's this one right here. Yeah, that's what I thought. Definitely the individual for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. You learn all the part numbers of everything, all the common things, enter them in so many times. Okay. That's cool. Well, that's the thing about new stuff, I mean, I love new stuff. I love to be like the first person to try like new stuff, new enclosures, new hinges, and stuff like that. But it's you're kind of like a pioneer out there.
Oh
You know
yeah,
what's nice
Trail.
about that hinge is that, and I didn't realize this from the glass show, but when they showed it to us today, it actually has a vinyl seal on the bottom so the water won't get through the hinge. I don't know if you
Is
noticed that or
is
not,
that
but
isn't there like a little flap inside there? Is that the one you're talking about?
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah, I saw. So I noticed it at the show because I went by that booth a few times, just trying to get and I just keep looking at it, and yeah, I saw that little. There's like a little black, almost like a gasket or something, like a little flap deal inside
Yeah.
there. That's pretty cool.
Well, the guy that designed it like, I don't know, Christina, do you remember what he said, like in 5 days or something? Or okay. Anyway, we met the guy at the show that actually drew that up and designed that hinge, and like a prototype, and I mean, no time at all. Maybe it's 3 weeks. I don't know, but yeah, it's a pretty impressive hinge, really. If it can handle a 45 inch wide door, and what is it, 180 pounds?
Nice.
Yeah, it was something pretty stout, and that's why like just happened like both of these customers were it was over 40 inch, or one was like I said 39 and a half or 39 and a quarter, and the other one was 43 I think. And I was like, oh, this is perfect. I literally just saw this, so it made my trip worth it. No. But yeah, no,
Well, the question I have, and this is where having everybody here with a lot of experience can comment. If the door, when it's mounted, the glass is going to be so close to the floor or threshold, whatever it's mounted to, that supposedly it's not going to leak without, I mean, if it doesn't have a seal on the bottom of the door, you don't have your polycarbonate seal on the bottom that you normally would put on there, that PPA, whatever that is. But anyway, as you open the door lifts up and provides more clearance.
Mhm.
But what's everybody's opinion on whether water will still leak or not without a seal on the bottom?
Frameless shower doors leak.
Yeah. They used to be my sales spiel. They're expensive,
You know,
take a long time to
me.
get, and they leak. And they say, that's what I want.
Exactly. Where do I sign? Yeah. Yeah, speaking of newer hardware, I checked out those Bellagio hinges that Sierra came out with recently, and they're pretty neat, man. They'll handle a door like 39 inches wide or something like that, and then they're offset. So it's pretty cool if you've got that situation where you need to move the door all the way out to the outside of the opening, and it's super wide or big or heavy or whatever. And they're super cool because the hardware is covered. It's got a cap that goes over the screws to hide them.
Yeah.
So I had a situation where I could use those. So, I'm going to try those new things, and work great. So recommend those. They're pretty neat. And then there's
Any install tips?
What's that?
Any install tips?
Not really. I mean, they're super easy because you can actually, you can just set the door in place and drill right through the hinge, if you want to, because it's just so far away from the glass. I think it's just like two, let me see, what was it? Can't remember how many holes there are. But really super easy to work with. And then, yeah, like I say, even if you like, booger up the screw head or whatever, it doesn't matter because it's got a cover that goes over it. And it looks really sweet and finished and everything when you're done. But there's a similar one. I think that's like the lighter duty one. I think there's a heavier duty one. That's similar. Starts with a P or something. You guys know what I'm talking about? You guys tried any of these things?
The Palermo, I think it is.
Palermo. That's it. And it'll handle an even bigger door.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Mm-hmm.
Have you tried those, Brian?
I have, yeah. I did not
Oh,
care
yeah,
for
that's
them.
right. You didn't have a good experience, huh?
No,
You had some slippage and stuff, right?
Yeah, I think it was 3 times the door slipped and I had to go back until I kind of chose to order a new door, and I think I used the Lugano, I think was the model I had ended up using, or the Como, maybe. One of them has just 2 circular holes, so it's a through glass mount rather than a U cutout for the hinge.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's coming back to me now.
bad.
I remember you talking about this before. Sorry to bring up your trauma, man.
Yeah, it's okay. I'm over it. If I don't sleep well tonight, dude, it's on you.
I know, man. If you're awake in the middle of the night, feel free to call me. No, I'll talk you down.
Appreciate it.
It's the least I could do, man.
Yeah, but I was surprised actually because they had they came with like the fiber type gaskets.
Right.
And it seemed, I had anticipated it having pretty solid grip. It felt like it did when we installed it, and lo and behold, it didn't. And I had contacted CR Lawrence and asked them about it. I couldn't really get anywhere with them, so after a few tries, I just said, forget it. I'm just gonna get a new door. Yeah, it was kind of disappointing, really, because it was. I was looking forward to using them, and they were nice looking. But you know, more importantly than them looking nice, I need them to work well.
Yeah. If I remember
Yeah.
right, the cutout was just kind of square, right? There was no like mouse ears or anything. So there's
No,
really
no,
something like that. You really can't even stick blocks in there, to keep it from slipping.
for moving around. Yeah, no.
Has anybody tried matching any of the new finishes or just any finishes in general to the Moen brushed gold? I just put some pictures in the comments. Had a builder using Moen brushed gold, and none of the stuff really matches it. Can't remember the last time we've tried matching the Moen brushed gold, and there's no comparison on the CRL chart either for it.
Just Christina is the expert of matching hardware.
I mean, like a different vendor, like Horizon or somebody else, maybe a different vendor possibly.
Yeah, we use, I'm looking it up on our match thing on our website, but it is, I believe it's Structures brushed gold is what you'll want to use. And that's Structures Glass Solutions out of Florida. And Jan is great. He is awesome. Their customer service is fabulous. They ship same day. And it's
What'd you
just,
say the
yeah,
name was? The person, Jan?
Jan Carlos. He probably pronounces it Jan, but he says Jan on the phone because there we are.
Oh,
But he's
Structures
great.
Glass Solutions.
Yeah. The brushed gold from there is awesome. It matches Bowen brushed gold. And most of the Amazon, like if somebody buys their plumbing fixtures from Amazon, it's like a Chinese something. It matches most of those things too.
Now, does their brush gold U channel match their hinges? Do you know offhand?
I want to say yes. Yeah, I want to say yes. We've done it before and never had any problems. We don't do it a lot.
Okay.
We don't use a ton of channel, but
Okay. Yeah, the reason I ask is I had gotten a brush gold from Glaze Hardware, which is essentially the same, kind of the same guys, same finishes, and it's a deeper gold. It's similar to Structures brush gold. And I had used top and bottom pivot hinges with glass to glass mount with U channel. And when I took the hinges out, the comparison between the hinge itself and the U channel was like so different. I was like, oh my god, what am I gonna do? I mean, it ended up working out okay, but the color was very off at the time. I didn't, maybe it was a fluke, I don't know, but
let me
just
see if I can
curious.
find any pictures.
so now structures have hardware, like compatible hardware for pretty much all the basics that we're used to. That's cool. It's good to know. It's good to know. That's two, Christina. That's two in one call. 2 times you saved the day.
What is it like dealing with them? Do you have to set up an account and stuff like that, or can you do a one-time order? Or
I think you need to set up an account just like anybody else, but I don't think it's as intense as something like an OBE or a CRL. And they're really lovely people to deal with. We've had no issues with them.
can you buy it online aftermarket, like from other vendors, like middle people that would just be sourcing it and stocking it and selling it?
You can buy it from us.
There you go. Love it.
It saves me from setting up an account.
We've got it, Daniel, but also you can set up an account, whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We can give you a, little bit of, basically cost.
It's probably
Yeah.
not that complicated, I'm
Not a
sure.
big deal.
Setting up an account for them, but yeah. It's
You
good to know
can-
it's available.
They have, just so you know, Daniel, and to everybody on this call, they also have good drill bits. They're pretty
Okay.
cheap. They're the ones that look kind of like the arrowheads, the little spade bits. We did have a bad batch, but it was only one time. But they work well. They're cheap, and we usually buy, like a couple hundred at a time or something. So
Cool.
What is cheap for drill bits to people these days?
I don't even remember, about buck 70 maybe. I can't remember now.
I think they're like
If it's less than-
$1.30.
Yeah, if it's less than
$1.30
$5, it's like it's cheap.
That's cheap, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It is a good bit. It's a good bit.
Maybe I'll just set up an account after all.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, they used to have really good prices. In fact, that's how I got started in this business. I bought from them because things used to be dirt cheap going through them, but they didn't have great hinges at the time. But they worked actually pretty well. I mean, once I had problems with the screws coming out of the back plate, that was my biggest issue. So I ended up just putting Loctite on every one of them, and it was a little time consuming. But at the time, I had a kid working for me. There was always some downtime, so I would have him do that to every hinge, and they performed quite well. Even they were at the time $16 a hinge. But yeah, we don't really buy that much from them anymore, do we, Christina? Just the brushed gold is the only thing we're buying from them.
From structures?
Yeah.
Probably a little more than that.
Do we? Okay. All right. I guess now the slider, I guess there's a slider we get.
Yeah, there's a slider that they have that CRL doesn't, that we really like. The bar is super strong, very heavy duty, but I think you need a special saw blade for it. I'm not a tools person, but it ate a couple of blades the first time we did it, so word of caution.
I'll have to ask you about that. But they also have what's called the flux slider, and I loved that, except didn't have an anti-jump pin on it. It's a barn door slider. It was so simple to install. Beautiful slider, and you could put the door on the inside or the outside, but I stopped doing it because it didn't have that anti-jump pin. Looks like the CR Lawrence Laguna.
Yeah, and the best one that looks like that from any supplier we found, I think, was Alumax. Their PL 80. No, is that the right code? PL 80 is their.
I don't remember. It could be.
And that's the easiest install for a sliding system that looks like that from an installer perspective. If anybody's curious, but working with Alumax can be its own level of difficulty. So, which I probably shouldn't say publicly, but you know what?
Yeah, that's what we're here for,
They have cost us so much money.
Yeah, the customer service is probably the worst in the industry.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, how are people going to improve if they don't hear how we really
I would
feel?
love for them to hear too. I mean, and I've told them to their face. I mean, I've told them that they got bad customer service and they don't care. So.
Wow.
There you go. There you go. Yeah, there's always that trade-off between like service and the quality, right? Price, and then how fast that they deliver. And if company can really nail all of those things, or even most of them, most of the time. I mean, nobody's 100%, right? Everybody has, bad days, bad streaks, or whatever. But
they have
that,
a
Lana?
distribution center in Pensacola now that opened up just about a month. Maybe they've been open about a month. So everything that they manufacture, I think it's in Arkansas.
Magnolia, Arkansas.
Yeah, they now stock it. If it's something you use a lot, they will keep it in stock in Pensacola, and they also well, they deliver to Mobile twice a week if we need them. But yeah, they're trying to do a better job with their lead time. So they opened this place up. They've been open about a month.
Yeah, you know, I've seen their products. I've never installed one. I've never worked with them. I've uninstalled many, you know, over
Yeah,
the years, but I don't know if I've just never been,
yeah.
never had a rep show up, right? Try to sell me the stuff, I guess.
We
Oh,
we use a lot of Alumax stuff. We stock all their metals, but
yeah.
it's been difficult to keep their black metal in stock, and that's pretty much all the frame shower doors we do these days. But we would stock their metal and build our own shower doors, but it's
Right.
kind of hard to get the metal, it's kind of hard to get the door kits. So we'd have trouble getting the door kits. So we'd have to order the doors from Coastal and build the frames with the Alumax metal so that it all works together essentially. We figured that out. So we would buy the framing metal from Alumax and the door kits and doors from Coastal and put it together. So and it all matched up well. But it was a pain in the butt getting the stuff from them. So still
Mhm.
is actually the black materials from Alumax is not very easy to source. So we'll order it and we'll let it come in when it comes in and we'll do what we got to do. So we just keep it rolling in and sitting in stock every now and then.
Keep installing those continuous hinge doors, Daniel, so that we can replace them in 6 or 7 years when the hinges fail.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Somebody's got to
We
do that first part.
we don't like continuous hinge. We like the pivot ones. My dad's always liked the pivot doors for some reason
Yeah,
from Alumax.
they're better. Yeah, they are better. They just wobble a lot.
Yeah, but it's a frame door, so whatever.
And they
you
wear
know.
out too, you know, they definitely wear out
Mhm.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
No.
all things considered, Alumax has a really good quality product, and we take out Alumax doors and put in framed doors, but we'll take out, a 20, 30-year-old door that's still in great shape. And that's kind of how we know that Alumax is a good quality product. We really see it over time. And I think to be fair and to be the reality of it is they've been purchased and sold and they've gone through so many acquisitions so quickly that their systems have not been able to keep up with what they're selling, and so they can't keep your payment on file. They can't set things up, and their systems just don't work with their sales
Sounds like
process. It's a
management
mess.
to me.
It's a
Fair.
mess. We
Yeah.
have a very nice sales rep. I would like to say that our sales rep is very lovely, but
Yeah.
otherwise,
And you make a good
chaos.
point. I mean, it's like anytime I've pulled like one out, it's like you can tell the quality is there. They're heavy gauge, and they're like 25, 30 years old. It's usually like one of those things that's been in there forever, so you can tell that the
Mhm.
quality is there for sure.
Has
Yeah.
anybody installed any of those brass doors that everybody keeps asking about that Bill refers everybody to Mr. Shower Door for? Because I've got a builder that keeps sending over design and inspiration pictures of them, and I'm just wondering when I'm actually gonna have to give in and have one of those made. But we keep just being able to get away with just wrapping frameless doors with channel and stuff for now.
With the grip.
But it's coming soon. It's just like the heavy duty brass.
Mhm.
You got the
Have you priced
transoms that'll stay opened.
have you priced one out yet?
No, I know they're expensive, but that's
Yeah.
why we just, we kind of feel it out and figure out where their mindset really is before we actually have it priced, because I can only imagine
It wouldn't
the
hurt.
process.
We had one, we have never put one in, and I've only bid out one, but it was because they're super expensive. I think it was for a corner shower. I want to say rough dimensions was like 45 by 45. And it was a corner shower, and then it was steam, so they wanted it all the way to the top, and it was, I want to say, like 95 inches or so, give or take, and they wanted a little transom. And it didn't come from Mr. Shower Door. It came from Renaissance, I think. And yeah, our
Mhm.
cost was like close to $11,000 just for the materials. Granted,
Yeah.
that's shipped and
Yeah.
everything, and it's all put together. But yeah, it was pricey. I mean, it looked great, and they put together like a whole like sales package for us to like present to the client, and had like a whole booklet with the name on there. I mean, it was they really put the shine on it for the cost. But
Did it
yeah, I
have a
mean,
cup holder? That's what I
yeah,
want to know.
right. I mean, but it was crazy expensive.
Seven
Is that a
thousand.
brass extruded channel?
Yeah, so that's what everything is it's solid brass. And it comes I don't remember if I think they do glaze it, and it comes like basically they'll put together the whole frame and ship it like almost all together. And then as
Like a
far as
pre-hung door sort of a thing.
yeah,
Yeah.
and then you just kind of piece it together when you get it there, to the job site. But you don't have to do any cuts or anything. It's literally just putting it all together.
So it's
And
a ready kit to go when you get it. You just
Yeah,
gotta.
based off of whatever your measurements are.
Custom made, ready to
It
go.
be for $1,000. It should be.
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
what's
Yeah.
the purpose of it?
Another company, I think it's called American Shower Door.
They're out
Yeah.
of they're out of business now.
Hmm.
That guy,
Oh,
but there's a company that bought all his dies called MetTech out there. I guess they're in LA also. They were I guess a competitor, and he bought all of Chris's dies and whatever he had left, a bunch of his stock brass that he had. He's a pretty good guy to work with. We've bid a couple doors out through him. We did probably about 8 to 10 of those enclosures with Chris before at American Shower. And they are kits. They just come, they're just like frame doors. They just come.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
The last one we did was so big. We're in Indiana, so they couldn't ship the glass to us. So it all came in pieces, and it was a nightmare to try to put it together. So I would don't try to save a little bit of money on shipping or glass or anything like that. Have them put it all. That's what I would definitely recommend.
Yeah, that's what this guy was telling me. Their sales rep was like, yeah, it comes like package and everything on their truck, and they drive it to you basically. I mean, like I said, you pay for it, but it's a pretty, I mean, cool setup. I mean, because it's literally you just put it together, no cuts, no nothing. It's just all ready to go.
I don't understand the purpose of it though. Why would you want to spend $11,000? Well, cost on a
Yeah.
frame shower door? Like what does it do for that? Like
Yeah, and
There
their
are-
whole thing is that because it's solid brass, it's a living metal or whatever, and it'll last a lot longer. And all they had their whole spiel, but it was
yeah.
and then over time it's going to get aged. It starts to tarnish and stuff, and it's look that that
Is it
particular customer's going.
Is it lacquered to protect the brass, or is it going to tarnish?
No, it'll tarnish. It's
Unlacquered.
Most of it's all unlacquered. I think they might have an option where it's lacquered.
You can lacquered. The last one we did was actually polished nickel. But we actually did do that was unlacquered brass. And I'm telling you, we went back to the house to do some window glass work, and within 6 months it was all tarnished, and I thought it looked terrible, but they liked it. I mean,
yeah.
And then we did a bunch of them that actually were black, like a matte black too. We did like 6 of them in one house, and then we just did one across the street in the polished nickel. The polished nickel looks pretty good. I mean, the doors are probably like 90 something inches tall, and it has like awning transoms above it, which are pretty neat. But how often they reach up to touch 90 something inches off the floor, who knows? They probably never even touch it.
Just for looks, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's a market out there like that. I mean, there's
Yeah.
people who they've got that kind of money. They want to spend $30,000.
Mhm.
So yeah, market to those guys. You want them. You want those people for your customers. I would
Heck yeah, I was all excited when they sent me that package. I was like, oh yeah, totally, we could do this.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can do that.
Yeah, I think the price got to him a little bit.
That's cool.
So essentially, you just start off by asking them if they're ready to spend
Yeah.
$25,000 on a door.
Yeah, right.
Mhm.
They actually install pretty easy. I mean, they just install like frame shower doors.
I'll bet.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's
I mean,
all
they're
put
easy.
together, I mean,
Yeah.
I'll just run some screws and you're
Yeah.
done, huh?
It's kind of like, hey guys, stay there a couple extra minutes just to make sure that it looks good that you were there for a while.
Right, right.
Mhm.
Have a sandwich or something. Love it, man. Well, I'm having fun, but we're about so
Uh-oh. We've
good
gone-
talk, everybody. Thanks for showing up. And don't forget, you can join us on Zoom every week. Just go to showerdoorprofessionals.com/podcast. And there's a page that Rob set up, all the info there for how to get to this call, how to invite a guest to come and be our guest speaker or something like that. Who knows? You can also find us on YouTube, wherever you listen to podcasts. Just search for Shower Door Professionals. You'll find us. All right, everybody. Have a
Sounds good.
great rest of your week. We'll see you next time.
Next week.
Very
Bye-bye.
good. Take care.
Thank you, Chris.